Morning. Welcome to our sixth annual joint DocTRC retreat. I'm glad we have some good weather for you, especially for people coming from the East Coast. Really delighted to see you here. So this is our sixth annual joint retreat, and with the two resource centers working together. And Jeff Lowe's and myself are the lead PI for the C-Doctor program, along with the other leadership on the screen, and then Dave Kong, who leads the Translational Resource Center, along with the leadership on the screen as well. So in a truly collaborative fashion, we're going to do this presentation in a tag team. I'll do the first half, and then Dave will finish the second half. It takes a village for us to run the DocTRC program. Here are the 9 academic institutions representing the PIs who are based in these universities and research institute. And we really appreciate the support from NIDCR and also our advisors and partners, and also especially our ITP teams. And well, before I go forward, I also wanted to extend a welcome for people who are joining us online. And I know some people couldn't travel, so really a welcome to this joint retreat. So the DocTRC program really was put together with a very well-defined mission, that is to serve as the nation's consortium to accelerate regenerative therapies for dental, oral, and craniofacial tissue towards clinical adoption and also product commercialization. And it's easy to say that, but it's really, as you will see, really people have been just working so hard to move these projects from a discovery phase into towards a clinical adoption. When you look at the composition of our ITP teams, and you can see they're just cover a very distinct and diverse area of technology, and the two resource centers have been working together collaboratively in with joint board membership and with voting rights on each other's RC. And also we have a joint website, and also our external advisory group has been doing a fantastic job guiding us, just about where to focus and how to develop these ITP teams. And in terms of how we harmonize the process in ITP review, you will really see this in action today and tomorrow. And then also sharing resources and expertise. And you also see that hopefully highlighted in ITP's presentation. And then cross RC training, and then also leveraging on our home institutions such as CTSI, CTSA in support. So the DocTRC program over the years, started, for those of you who were not part of this program at the beginning, NIDCR really had the vision to initiate this program, which is very unique. And it started with the support of 10 teams that are put together to really help to establish these experts, to put experts together to engage with basic scientists, clinicians, regulatory science experts. And then we, from there, we moved on to the second stage of funding support, during which we really have put together these teams to select ITP teams to support their development towards their preclinical study, and also with regulatory science experts helping us to guide these teams' development. And so during those 3 years, we really reviewed a lot of proposals and then supported these ITP teams' development. And then at the beginning of pandemic in year 2020, we started our stage 3 funding. During this last 5 years, we went through a process to down select these ITP teams and focusing on the ones really have the potential to move their project towards an IND or IDE filing, which is really the goal for the stage 3 funding support, and then with a commercialization strategy development. And going forward, what we have seen is really this network of experts that we have brought together over the years, and then from basic sciences to clinicians looking at what are the clinical needs that the ITP teams can help to address, and then regulatory science experts, industry experts, and people who are advisors helping us to really look at the development of these ITP teams over the years towards a successful FDA filing and then eventually commercialization. So overall, the DOCTRC program is really put together as the sort of a bridging the valley of death by enabling the translational research and taking these projects from excuse me, from a basic research through a concept proof of concept study, and then helping to provide the support in order for these projects to conduct preclinical studies, GMP manufacturing, and GLP large animal studies, and then eventually have a successful IND and IDE filing. And over the years, our focus really has been just on these ITP teams, and then with all these components surrounding it as a way to support ITP development. The 2 resource centers working together along with the leadership at NIDCR and also our program people who are joining us today online, our external advisory group, and then our home institutions. We have leveraged a lot of the funding support from all the universities as part of our consortium, and also our contracted research services, whether it's about conducting a GLP study or doing biocompatibility study. And then all of this, the resources have been able to support the ITP teams. And then when necessary, we also brought in consultants, whether it's about putting together a clinical protocol or how to prepare IDE or IND filing. And then all of this have been part of the support system to really help advance the ITP's mission. And then overall, over the years, the DOCTRC program have reviewed more than 228 proposals. And then from there, we have supported 44 projects. And then right now, we have, between the 2 resource centers, there are 15 active ITPs. But if you look at the composition of all these ITP teams, and it is very easy to see, more than 94% of all these ITP teams have had prior NIH funding. So their experience in getting NIH support and really help them to really advance to this stage to move from basic discovery into translation. And then in terms of ITP teams with issued or pending patents, more than 90% of the ITP teams have patents already either issued or are pending. It really reflects how, as a group, the 2 resource centers have been able to really select these ITP teams and then make a bet, if you will, to support them. And then now, moving forward with towards commercialization. And then also, with active FDA interaction, more than 30 projects that have had 30 FDA interactions. And so, either with IND or IDE or pre-submission meetings. And in terms of other metrics, follow-up grants, more than 65 new grants to support these ITP teams, and then a total of more than $75 million external leverage funding, and then 18 SBIR, STTR grants. And the success rate, I think that is really a very impressive number, 80% success rate. Really highlights the sort of the support system that has been able to help these ITPs moving forward. In terms of return on investment, and we've been able to get more than 2.5 times of the funding support in terms of translating from NIH to non-NIH dollars. That includes from money from foundation, from industry, from state funding agencies, and you will see an array of those funding support in the ITP team updates today. And so right now we have, from all the ITP teams, we have one product already on the market, and then 5 IND and IDE filed, 1 IND approved, 1 IDE also got approved recently, and then 1 510K cleared, and another 1 on clinical hold, 1 under review, and 7 other ones are undergoing IND and IDE in the process of completing parts of the study following the interaction with the FDA. So this is, really such a high level of success rate with the FDA interaction. So the next 2 slides, I will highlight some of the C-Doctors year 2025 in review, and then I'll turn that over to Dave, who will highlight some of the progress from the Translational Resource Center, and then finish up with the presentation. So last year, Derek Wan's group received this Shields Excellence in Research Award from the Shields Entrepreneurial Funds, and our Calvario Bone Regeneration Project had a successful pre-submission meeting with FDA. And then the first and second quarter of this year in 2025, and Chelsea Bainey and Sarah Knox, they had their Hydronovo team really had a frontline investigator at the UCSF Innovation Showcase during the JP Morgan conference. And JP Pepper, who works on the facial nerve regeneration project, got some funding from Grateful Patient. And again, the Hydronovo team got awarded more than $1 million in SBIR funding support from NIDCR. And also we had our spring retreat in April this year. And then moving into the third and fourth quarter of this year, Mike Longacre's group, their cleft lip and scar revision ITP had a successful FDA interaction meeting. And also the DocTRC program was featured during the 240th National Advisory Dental Craniofacial Research Council meeting. And then that really followed after Jennifer's presentation, and she really highlighted the success of this program, and also moving forward, how this network that the DocTRC programs put together will enable additional studies, such as disease monitoring or sensor-based studies, and so on and so forth. We'll talk more about that. And then Tara's periimplantitis bone regeneration program now is in the process of forming a new company. And then finally, the later part of this year, the DocTRC program led by Longacre, Wan, and Gertner, are working towards launching a new company. And now we're here today and tomorrow to really highlight all the progress ITP teams have been able to make, and then with our annual retreat. So here, I'll turn it over to Dave to finish up with the rest of the presentation.
Okay, thanks, Yang. We welcome everybody in person and also online. We consider ourselves an adaptive consortium. There was no template for the DocTrack model. We developed something, and as things have gone on and we've learned lessons, we've adapted in real time to modify our structure, our processes, our interactions. So what we're presenting, what Yang presented, what I'll present, is a result of various adaptations through the years, one of which, this is our 6th retreat, lesson learned, hold a winter meeting in California, the summer meeting in all of our sites, Michigan, Pittsburgh, Boston, are not nice weather sites. So welcome everybody. I won't read every bullet, but what's highlighted, I want to reinforce some of the ITP success stories. So Greenmark, as many of you know, is a company that took over some academic technologies, and they secured FDA clearance for their Crystal Care product, back in the early part of this year. RevBio, another startup company, received FDA approval to expand its clinical trial for its bone adhesive for cranial flap fixations. RevBio also advanced their sister technologies involving dental implant stabilization trials, and more RevBio expanded into the UK with a second cranial flap fixation clinical trial. So technologies that the Resource Center has helped support, and some of the sister technologies have advanced into clinicals. Greenmark presented at Dentech and won an award from the Shills Entrepreneurial Fund, as well as received further NIH funding for a next-gen caries treatment. And RevBio received FDA approval for their bone glue for the application of treating extremity fractures in a clinical trial. So success for those and many of other ITPs, as you'll hear today and tomorrow. So in terms of our combined portfolio of the 2 resource centers, these numbers Yang presented on a previous slide. We've funded about 20 to 25% of the projects, and there's 15 that are still active. Some exited because they met their milestones, received sufficient follow-on funding. Others exited to deeper funding in non-doc areas, and others exited because they didn't meet their milestones and go-no-go decisions, but still took the lessons learned from being involved in this process and applied them to continue the adaptation of their technologies. Within these projects, we cover most of the product types, just about all the tissues from the neck up, and the major regulatory paths. So we're very agnostic in terms of product type, tissues, and regulatory pathway, and it speaks to the breadth of expertise that the 2 resource centers can bring to the table to help these technologies be shepherded towards a positive exit. So we consider this model, as I said, adaptable and quite flexible. This is a table that shows what I indicated on the previous slide, that the majority of the doc tissues, we currently support ITPs in these spaces. But if we take a broader view and look towards what our capabilities as a consortium are, we can flip things 90 degrees and demonstrate that there's many other potential domains in the musculoskeletal, in the nervous system, trauma, inflammation, infection, wound healing, congenital malformations, all of those broader medical spaces. We think we have the expertise and the capabilities to shepherd projects because we've done that with many of the projects that we currently support in the doc space. We also consider as a national consortium bringing value not just to the ITPs that we manage, but to the broader community. We've developed a unique ecosystem of doc, regenerative medicine, and translational expertise to enable the de-risking of technologies through hands-on and customized support, and an operational structure that provides the resources and the intellectual guidance and expertise for that management that will be a theme of the rest of this talk for me, adaptability and extension into other areas. Beyond the hard dollars are certainly important, and they support work that is typically not supported by other more traditional funding mechanisms, but it's really critical to bridge the valley of death, as Yang showed schematically. And we've shown at least a 2.5-fold return on investment that has enabled the acceleration of these technologies through the translational funnel towards the FDA. We consider a major component of what we do to be on the training and educational end, and it's not just training the ITPs and opening their eyes to what translational research is really about, but the broader community through consult programs, various webinars that we've held, and that's geared towards, as I said, not just training the ITPs, but the broader community, the next generation of researchers, so when they think of translation, they'll have a more keen eye on what is really necessary. We consider this scalable and adaptable to areas beyond the current doc regenerative medicine ecosystem. So continuing that spirit, we think we have an adaptable infrastructure, very good project management and guidance with a focus on true translation, milestone-driven, not specific aim-driven, and this is all agnostic to any particular clinical or technical space. The funding, as I mentioned, supports work that most other mechanisms do not fund, traversing the valley of death. We have the resources. Yang mentioned on one of his slides the CROs. This is a network of CROs. We have qualified, made sure the vendors are pre-qualified to be acceptable in their structure and processes to the FDA. We leverage CTSAs, which many of the universities Yang showed have very strong CTSAs. We tap into their regulatory infrastructure, their clinical trial design infrastructure. We have an array of expertise in preclinical models, in regulatory manufacturing, commercialization expertise, and currently that's because of the mission of the DocTrack program. It is adopted to doc-specific cases, but as I've mentioned already, we're well capable of extending beyond that. And as I've also mentioned, we have a number of training elements for both the ITPs as well as the broader community. And all of this infrastructure is scalable to other areas. So looking a little bit towards the future, the core mission, as Yang said, is to shepherd technologies and teams toward first-in-human study, FDA clearance, and all of other translational elements that are necessary for clinical adoption, company formation, licensing, et cetera. We think we have a unique and strong basis for doing this. We've we've demonstrated that, and that it's scalable in that I won't show you our organizational charts, but it's kind of plug and play in terms of changing different domains of expertise depending on the needs, changing cores, scientific and translational cores depending on needs, expanding our training and mentorship opportunities, and leveraging partnerships with other areas of the NIH as well as the private sector. And all of this will enable us to broaden our impact, we believe, beyond the current niche of doc and regenerative medicine, going in directions of other areas of regenerative medicine, diagnostics, biomarkers, and all of this aligns with the NIH initiatives for human-based research, non-animal models, but also, if animal models are used, ensuring that the outcomes have relevance to human and clinical outcomes. Okay. So the organization for today, as I end the presentation, we'll have 2 sessions of ITP updates and then 2 workshops. The workshop this morning will be on speakers from universities as well as 2 of the ITPs on early stage new companies that formed out of universities, out of ITP projects, but they are in an earlier stage. The workshop this afternoon will be from 2 later stage companies that have had significant investment, have been acquired by deeper pockets, and have been doing this for a longer time with more traction and more in-human data. And this is to show the 10,000-foot message is that with the end game of clinical adoption, it really necessitates a commercialization arm, and the earlier that projects can start to think about that and be managed towards that end goal is really critical to achieve that. So those are 2 workshops, as well as 2 sessions of ITP, presentations, and a networking reception and dinner this evening. Tomorrow, a 3rd ITP session, spliced in with an FDA session focusing on the FDA's mantra of shifting away from animal research, and we'll have an open session on just brainstorming for what comes next. And the focus of that session will be on how well the interactions between the 2 resource centers have worked, and are there things we could do better in terms of interaction, in terms of efficiencies, conserving resources, et cetera. So thank you for the opportunity to tag team with Yang and give a little more detail on where things are at and where things are going in the consortium. Some technical issues. I won't read these bullets, but if you have technical problems, please reach out to Jiawei, Puli, or Nicole. And again, a big thank you to everyone in attendance in person, online. Thank you to the NIDCR for their vision and their support and their partnership, the advisors, the partners, especially the ITP teams, and especially the operations teams across the various universities who are really the glue behind putting this meeting together. So thanks everybody, and we'll transition now to the first ITP session.